Alrighty, guys. Another day, another one. Thank you for everyone that come in. We have a very special guest today. He's my only upline that I know that is LD4 in a company since I was a kid. Joke. It's a company for a long, long time. And he have a lot of experience and knowledge about the products, about the company from inside out, and will give us some his view on things, including how to talk with people, how to approach people, strategies, and stuff like that. I hope that we can have enough time to have questions. I cannot see a lot of people today, so I believe that we'll have a lot of time. Yeah, so let's start. Rene,
Okay, well,
your
again, thank you.
it's all yours.
Yes, no, again, thank you so much, Lior and Bella. Again, hello everyone on the call. I see, of course, Jazz. Thank you for being here as always. Great call yesterday night as well too on the Fountain of Life testimonial call. Hello, Diane. Good morning to you. Also, yes, and also Wendy. Good morning. Good morning. It's great, by the way, to be on this call with you all. I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you a lot better and being able to support you guys in any way I possibly can. So don't be shy to ever reach out, okay? But yeah, today is actually one of my most favorite training topics in the company, which is about how to approach people and what to say. So just out of curiosity, um, how many of you are shy? Like, or how many of you struggle with approaches? And and just be absolutely honest with me because that's what we're here for, is to get you through and turn you into like a monster recruiter, right? Okay, so Diane raised her hands. Okay, thank you, Diane, for being honest. You know, and it's okay because a lot of us sometimes, it's if you're not from the sales world, as they say, then sometimes doing approaches can be a little bit nervousing. And and so, when it comes to approaches, where I always start first in my training is we gotta start from top down. Meaning we gotta start with what's happening between the ears. In other words, what's going on in your mind. And um, a lot of it comes down to your mindset. We end up having a lot of people in this industry. And the beautiful thing about our industry of MLM is that there's no criteria. There's no interview. You don't have to have experience. You don't have to have previous work experience or this or that. You don't have to have business experience. Anyone can be in our business, right? And so that being said, a lot of people might not have the correct mindset. Uh, and so, in other words, the thing that I had to do, and that I always encourage for all of my people who are in any kind of business or not in any kind of business, regardlessly, is work on personal development. It might sound kind of strange that, on this training for today, which should be about approaching and, prospecting, that we talk about personal development. But it's so, so important. And so, in other words, what I used to do, so a bit more about myself is that I used to be a programmer. So I studied in computer science at the University of Toronto. And so I was doing programmer job. And do you think programmers, do sales? Do you think programmers talk to a lot of people? No. Like my job before was sitting in a cubicle and literally from like 9 in the morning till, 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m., sometimes on weekends, I was just on my computer programming. And so, it's not like I had this a sales experience. I didn't come from, car salesman. I was just an IT guy behind the cubicle. And in other words, one way to look at it is whatever success you have today is based upon your current version of you today. Does that make sense? Right? And so if you want to increase your sales, then we need to sort of have you evolve to the next version of yourself. Does that make sense so far? Right? So you have like, if it's Windy version one or Diane version one, or we have, Lior version one, then if you want to have more, achieve more, become more, then you must get to that level too. So um so for me, I did instead of there's a saying by Jim Rohn that goes, if what you are seeing, reading, listening, or speaking about is not getting you to where you want to be, then why do you do those things? And so that really sat deep with me because what I used to do when I used to go to work and in the car, driving or on the subway, as I used to listen to all these music, sad songs and happy songs and rap songs and R&B songs, And I realized, wow, all this time I'm spending on listening to music, what if I just spent that time listening to personal development things? So that's what I did. So every time in the future, from the day I got started, even before this business, instead of driving to work, listening to music that was just regular music, I was listening to anything related to personal development. So that's my first tip for today is whenever you have time to listen to something, music or whatnot, go on to Instagram or TikTok or Facebook and look up just personal development, right? Or look up, sales training. Um, there are some amazing people that I still love to listen to today. And maybe we can all share in the group chat some of the best trainers. Um, that you like to listen to. So, for example, I still love to listen to Jim Rohn. He's a great one. Um, Brian Tracy is a great sales trainer. You might have heard of Les Brown for motivation, right? Of course, Tony Robbins is a very popular trainer as well too. For MLM, there's also like Eric Worre. And more recently, there's a guy called Daniel G that I like to listen to as well. So there are plenty of different kinds of speakers that you can follow on Instagram or on, TikTok and YouTube. And just another quick tip is, on your social media, you can save videos into your own playlist. And so I have a playlist for like sales training. And I always listen to these people. So that's my first tip for today because, on this training call, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot, but can we all agree that there's only so much we can do on one call, right? And for you to really see the change in yourself, daily repetition of messages are very important. And so it's called the blueprint of your mind. And imagine your mind, like the way you think, there's a blueprint right now. That's how you think. But people who are very, very, very successful, they have a different blueprint, right, in their mindset. And we can't change that. We can change a little bit in one call, but to make that really big change, to send you to that next level requires daily repetition, basically. All right. So, and for me, just every day listening to these things, you start to get fired up, you get motivated, you start to talk to people a lot more often. So that's my first tip is that personal mindset development. Um, and then so the second part of that is how like what is your mindset when you're out there? So let's say you're outside somewhere, you're buying your coffee or you bought something, you bought your food, your lunch, your groceries, you're buying clothes. And every day, can we all agree that we walk by so many people, right? You pass by so many strangers. You're at the mall, maybe you're at the restaurant, the food court. You see a lot of people every day. And the question is, well, are you at least talking to these people in your everyday? Or do you just walk right by them, right? Let's say you buy coffee from me. Are you talking to me about the business, or do you just buy your coffee and say, see you later? Right? Because every chance that I get to share this opportunity, to share this product, I take every opportunity I possibly can. Um, so what helped me a lot is every single morning, okay, like this morning, the moment I woke up, it was like 5:40 a.m. I went to bed around 1 a.m. last night. And so the first thing that I was thinking about was, I'm pretty tired this morning. But the second my mind wakes up after, while my eyes are still closed, there's three things that I do every day that I want to give you as tip number two. Okay, tip number two. And the three things I do every morning, even before my eyes open up, is there's three things I tell myself in my brain. The first thing is, thank goodness that I am alive today. So I give thanks because I believe that being healthy and waking up every morning and giving that appreciation to whatever religion or God, or just, if you're an atheist, to just the world, and whatever it might be, it's so important. So I just give thanks that I'm alive. I think leading your morning with gratitude is a fantastic way to start your morning. The second thing I say to myself every morning is, today is going to be the best day ever. Today is going to be the best day ever. Can you already start to see how your energy is going to change in the morning now when you wake up? And that'll carry you a lot better when you leave that door from your house as well too, or when you pick up the phone call and start talking to people, or you're texting people, right? Okay. So step one is give thanks. Step two is make a declaration that today will be the best day ever. And the third thing I do, which is very important, is I ask myself a question. And that question is, who can I help today? Who can I help today? And the third one is actually very, very important. What do you think happens in your mind when you ask that question, who can I help today? What happens is you're no longer out there in the business trying to do things for yourself. You're doing things for others, right? So when you meet people out there, you don't give off this scent that you are in sales or that you're trying to make money from people, right? You don't want that feeling when you're talking to people, right? Instead, you want the feeling that you are genuinely interested in helping someone else. Because in this business, the more people you can help, the more you will help yourself, correct? And so there's a saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And what I see happening a lot in some of the approaching people do is they rush too much. They're rushing and they're trying to get to selling a product too quickly. So also write this one down. I love this one. In order for someone to buy something from you, they have to buy you first. So in order for someone to buy something from you, they have to buy you first. So we always talk about building like and trust in our company training, building like and trust. Step one is to establish like, make them like you. And to establish like, it's always about them. So like is about your prospect and trust is about you. We have to build like first before we build the trust. So to build like, you have to get to know the person. So, for example, for me to help Diane or to help Wendy or to help Raz or to help Lior or Bella, let's say you're my prospect, in order for me to help you, I have to get to know you first. Would you agree? Right? If I don't know anything about you, how can I help you? So I have to do the first step, which is to build that like and get to, and the way you build like is you ask questions. Okay. But so that was kind of my introduction to how to do proper approaching. Is it actually starts between the ears, what happens in your mindset. So when I leave the house and I'm talking to my prospects, I'm not thinking about, oh, how can I make money, money, money from this person? And what can I sell? I'm not thinking that. In my mind, I'm thinking, how can I help this person in some shape or form? And please write this down. There's three things There's three things that people always want. Can everyone here guess what are the three things that everyone is looking for? You can type in the box or raise your hands or just share on the call, unmute yourself. Health. Yes, Diane, you're absolutely correct. People are looking for health. That's one thing. Yes, wealth. Yes, everyone's looking for more money, right? Everyone wants more money. Everyone wants better health. And what's the third thing everyone's looking for? Usually, once you get the wealth and you have good health, you can enjoy the third one is time freedom, right? Everyone wants more time and more freedom. Just because you have a lot of wealth doesn't always mean you have a lot of time and freedom. It depends, right? But, so in this business here, guess what? In our business, we offer all three. So in our business, we can offer people time, money, and better health. So knowing that, right? My goal when I'm speaking to somebody is to find out, can I help you make more money? Can I help you have more time? Or can I help you have better health? Because everyone is looking for those things. Okay. So again, the key part in when I talk to somebody is I'm trying to establish like and trust and asking them questions. Now, I kind of break down my approaches into usually two different scenarios. One scenario is when you have more time to talk to somebody. The second scenario is when you don't have much time. For example, let's say you're driving through a drive-through, or you're in line at a bank, right? Do you really have that much time to talk to your prospect, do you guys think? No, because there's people behind you waiting for you, right? Um, and so one of the most important things that you'll need to be successful in this business for approaching people is you have to have the right tools. Okay, the right tools. And what I mean by that is there's three tools that I always have with me whenever I am prospecting. And without these three tools, you're going to find it a bit harder to do your approaching. Okay. Can anyone here guess what are the three things that you have to have with you when you're out there prospecting with people? Can we take a guess here? The three things that you always got to have with you when you're prospecting? Let's see in the chat box if the team here can type or just unmute yourself, guys. I want to hear from you. My training is never about just me preaching. I want to hear from you guys, right? What are the
Drop
three things?
cards, Renee.
Yeah,
Have
that could be
some
definitely one of
drop
them.
cards.
Yep. So speaking of that, I have my drop cards here, right? But
Samples.
sorry, Jazz?
Your samples, the mini, samples.
Yeah. So one is you got to have the product with you, right? So if you're not carrying a few bottles in your purse, or if you drive a car, I always have a family pack, a fountain of life in the car. It's a pity when someone wants to buy a bottle from you and you don't have stock, right? So one item you must always carry with you is your products or the easier one is FOL bottles. Always carry bottles with you. Okay. I like to carry the FOL and the toothpaste because they sell pretty quickly as well for me. The second thing you gotta carry with you is any kind of brochures or the drop cards. I personally love to carry the Fountain of Life brochure. And again, at the back of it, you want to have your label, right? So the second thing is the brochures. And the third thing you want to have with you is testimonials. Testimonials. So in my eyes, for prospecting, if you're talking to people and you're not leaving them a brochure, okay, and you're not showing them the actual stories, all right, of the testimonials, you haven't done an actual proper presentation. Because for example, I've been here so long, I could mentally, in my memory, I could present this whole entire brochure. I could explain everything about Fountain of Life to you, but I would not do it without using the brochure. So any guesses, why is the brochure so important? Let's see what your thoughts are, guys, here. Why is the brochure so important? So why does Rene use a brochure when I could simply tell you everything from my mind?
Yeah, I think that people prefer somebody that come from third party, not from someone that talk with them, probably.
And they will forget probably half what you said.
The answer
Uh-huh.
is a brochure is duplicatable.
I love that. I love that. You're right. So, yeah, the biggest reason is because the brochure is duplicatable for someone. Like the way you approach someone in the business is how they perceive the business is done. So if they hear me doing a fancy presentation verbally, they're thinking, holy crap, I can't do that. That's too hard. But if they see me using a brochure to explain the business, that becomes a lot more simple. And they think, oh, I can do that too. So definitely it's simpler, it's duplicatable, and to Bella's point, yeah, they can remember a lot better because when that person goes home, how much of what you said do you think that person can actually remember? Maybe 5%, maybe 10% of everything that you said, they can only remember one or two things, right? But if they go home with a brochure, they can read everything here. Also, let's say they go home and they're excited about your product and they want to tell their husband or their wife, their parents, their children about the product. Is your prospect able to go and repeat what you just said to them? There's no way. But if they have the brochure, they can refer back to everything here. Okay, so I know you might be thinking, wow, I thought I was on this training for doing approaches, but Renee's talking about evolving yourself, personal development, mindset, tools, because that's really important. This is the proper foundation that you have to build to have before you can do the approaching, right? Okay, so we talked about mindset. We have talked about now the tools that you have to have with you. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into how I actually do my approaches. And these are all real stories now. So when I'm at the bank, or let's say I'm going through a drive-through, or let's say, just the other day, I went to go get my tires changed. And the people who changed my tires, right? Would you talk to these people? Because every single person I come across, I'm thinking, how can I help this person? Is it more time? Is it more money? Or is it better health? Or is it all three? I'm always thinking that. And so I start asking questions. So again, I talked about how there's some scenarios where you have more time to talk to the person. You're at a barbecue, a family gathering, you're at a networking event, you have more time. And other scenarios, you don't have much time, correct? So let's talk about the scenario where you don't have much time to talk to the prospect. What I always do is that the minute I buy my coffee from you, or the minute that, I pick up my food or I talk to you, I always, step one is you always give a compliment, right? Lior and Bella, I love your shirts, by the way. I love the shirts that you're wearing, right? Whenever you give someone a compliment, you see how they're smiling already, right? And so I always love to tell people, oh, by the way, thank you so much for helping me today. So whether they served you your food, gave you your coffee, say, what, thank you so much for helping me today. You've been great so far. Yeah, you've been great. And then the second thing I do is here are the magic words for my approach. Here comes the magic words, all right? Is using this brochure, I would say, oh, by the way, can I give you this? Can I give you this? And because I've already given them a compliment and said, thank you so much for, helping me today. You've been great, service, whatever. And then when I ask them, can I give you this? What do you think they say? They always say, sure, of course. And then when I give it to them and they're staring at it, right? What do you think they say next? They'll say, well, what is this? Right? Now they're asking me what this is. And so what I do is I turn to the first page and I ask them, well, have you heard of lignins before? Right? And again, most people will say what? They'll say, no, what are lignins? And I'll say, well, actually, lignins are, plant antioxidants that you actually eat every single day. All your fruits have lignins, all your vegetables have lignins, all your drinks, seeds, they all have lignins, but very, very tiny amounts. But they're very good for you. And our scientists in Finland have discovered through the Norwegian spruce tree the world's best source of lignins. In fact, it's so powerful that when you take 10 drops of this product called Fountain of Life, it's the same as you eating 1,800 cups of apples of these lignins. And they're like, wow. Or 10 drops is the same as having 50 cups of green tea, right? And they're like, wow. And I say, yeah. I said, the most important thing, by the way, is in Canada, to have a health product, you have to have this NPN number. And Health Canada gives 3 different levels. Level 1 and 2, you can't make claims, but level 3, you're allowed to make claims on this product. So let me show you all of the things that this product can do. On the next page, it tells you all the benefits. So I start telling that. So it helps you for your heart health, reducing breast cancer risk, helps for menopause symptoms, protects your DNA, it defends against dementia, helps with Alzheimer's, autism, Parkinson's, protects your prostate, improves your hair health. And I start reading one by one, just very quickly, all of the benefits to that person. And one time at the bank, I told this lady that it also helps. I got to dementia over here. She goes, oh, it helps with dementia? I said, yeah. And I said, it's very excellent for that. And here's the actual study on how it helps with dementia. She says, oh, well, she goes, well, how much is one bottle? I said, about $100. She goes, do you have one with you? I'm like, yeah, it's actually in my car. Okay, let me take one. So my goal is not to try to sell products. Don't forget, I'm just trying to help in any which way possible, right? And my goal is to drop this brochure with them. And so after that experience, in Canada, you have multiple banks in the same plaza. I went to another bank walked inside, and I have some holdings. I said, well, can I talk to somebody about my portfolio? They found me some guy. We went inside, started talking about my stuff I have in the bank. And then I go, oh, by the way, thank you so much for your help today. Can I give you this? Another brochure. Can I give you this, right? And long story short, I started talking about the same things. Have you heard of lignins and the story behind lignins and the 10 drops? When I got to hair, I noticed that his hair was kind of falling out. And he goes, oh, really? It helps with hair? And then, remember the third tool I share with you guys? The third tool you got to have with you is the testimonials. So on my phone, okay, I have different albums for Fountain of Life. For example, I have it says FOL hair, right? I have FOL different categories, and I started showing him all these different testimonials when it comes to hair. That's me before and after, right? So I started showing all these testimonials of how FOL helps to improve the hair loss, right? And so after seeing all these different testimonials, he also bought a bottle from me. Now, does everyone buy bottle? Does everyone? No, of course, it's impossible, right? So another really important mindset to have is that you have to get enough no's, and only after getting enough no's, you will eventually get a yes, right? And one other aspect that I got to talk about today about approaching is how many of you have ever had that feeling of being rejected? Like someone says no to you, and maybe when they say no to you, you kind of feel, I don't feel good, right? Right? Very normal, by the way. At first. Okay, we all go through that, right? And so, can we agree that when you're really trying to build something huge, when you're trying to build something, that pain will be involved? For example, if you're trying to build muscle, you go into the gym, will there be pain when you're building muscles in the gym? Of course there will be, right? But that's the same thing here. So just welcome that pain, get used to it, and trust me, when you do it 1,000 times, you'll become numb to that pain because you're going to evolve yourself to the next level, right? And again, if you're truly out in the marketplace trying to help other people, you won't care whether or not they say no. So when someone says no to me, I actually feel almost bad for them because I had something that I know everyone in this world should be on, Fountain of Life, Divine, Arctic Beta Collagen, right? Or have an opportunity to help them make more money, And so if someone says no to me, I actually feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for myself, by the way. I feel bad for them, number one. But I also know that if they say no, no does not mean never. No just means not right now. Can I tell you guys how many people I've spoken to that might have said no the first time, but with constant good follow-up, they eventually say yes? So many people. So many people. I've had people join me 10 years later in the business. And that's why, one of the next things is consistency, right? The more consistent you are in this business, the more the people you talk to start to realize, wow, this person Wendy or Diane or this person Raz or Lior or Shiron, they're pretty serious, because if you approach somebody only once about this product or this business and you never talk to them again, they're probably thinking, aha, I knew it. This person was only doing it and the business probably died already. But if you approach the same person 3 months later, every 3 months, every 3 months, every 3 months, they start thinking, this product that Wendy is talking about or that Diane's talking about, it's got to be good because they're still doing this business 10 years later. they're still showing me new testimonials. It's got to be good. Maybe I should give it a try. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So having these tools are so important, and everywhere I go, I'm always doing this. So that's the approach when you don't have much time. My goal is to always leave with them the brochure. But the last tip when it comes to giving out the brochures is sometimes you go through all the studies and maybe they're not interested in buying a bottle yet. What I do though is I want to get their contact information so that I can do a proper follow-up later on, right? So then what I'll say is, yeah, this product is really helpful. Are you experiencing or do you have any, people that that might have one of these issues, that the health issues? They might say no, again, they're just trying to be, they don't want to be sold, no problem. What I say is, well, it says, we have so many studies. We have hundreds of studies relating to this product. What I can do is I can actually send these studies to your WhatsApp. And they'll say, okay, sure. They might say yes, they might say no. And so have all of you seen the document that I made that shows all of the different studies when it comes to the fountain of life? Okay. I'm just going to share my screen just to make sure that everyone's seen it so you know what I'm talking about when I'm trying to send this thing here. 1 second here. Okay, here. I hope I can share my screen. Yep. Okay. So this is the document that I'm talking about. It's a document that shows hundreds of studies of fountain of life and what it actually helps. So every link here is a link to a study. But I mean, guys, by the way, I have this document when it comes to fountain of life and fountain of life, hundreds of studies on how fountain of life helps all different things. And I have another one, by the way, that I made for Divine. So Divine has even more studies because Divine has glutathione. Glutathione, one of our ingredients, right over here, it does all these things for glutathione. And then we have also the pine bark extract that does all of these things, right? Then we have the grapeseed extract that does all of these things, right? And I'm not done yet. I have to add the vitamin C, vitamin D, and the zinc, right? But so we have this information that some people they like to see the studies, but my whole point though is for me to get their contact information, I'm telling them, we have so many studies. Why don't I send you a link to the brochure and to the studies to your WhatsApp? And usually people say sure, right? Or email, whatever it is. But now at least I have their contact information to follow up. Okay. So everywhere I go, I buy coffee, I get whatever done. I'm checking out at some store. I'll say thank you for your help today. By the way, can I give you this? All right. So let's talk about really quickly. Let's say now that you have more time. So let's say, for example, the time that I was getting my car fixed, the two guys who were fixing my car, I started asking them questions. I asked them questions generally about, just chit chat. And there's a technique called form. You can ask questions about F, which is family and friends. You can ask a question about O, about their occupation. R, about recreation, like what they enjoy doing. And M is for money or motivation. So these are the things that I'll ask questions relating to these things. So the guys at the cars shop, I said, oh, I said, oh, how long have you been working here for, right? How did you get into working this job, right? How's the work here? Does it pay pretty well? Have you thought about doing other things? Are you from this country? Where are you from? What brought you here? right? So I just learned to ask these, and the reason why I have these questions off the top of my head is because I've done it a million times, and these are the standard questions I ask people, right? So here are the big ones, right? Like where are you from? Because nowadays you don't really know where people are from. They could be from anywhere, right? You know, and so like what brought you here? Yeah, become a master of asking questions. Absolutely, right? What do you do for a living? Oh, how long have you been doing that for? It sounds like you love what you're doing, right? Um, you know, um, how's life? How's your family? You have family here, right? So you just learn to ask questions. And for the people who work at a job, just always remember this. Everyone that works a regular job, they're most likely not happy doing that job. They would most likely prefer making more money and doing something more fun. Can we agree to that? Right? The guys changing tires, they would much prefer rather doing something else, making more money. And so then I asked him, I said, well, just, so after talking for a while, because I asked so many questions to these people and I built that then I asked them, well, out of curiosity, would you be open to other opportunities? Because, you mentioned that you're not really happy here, the pay's kind of low. Are you looking for other opportunities? And because I spent enough time building that like and trust, because now we have more time. This is the scenario where we have more time. Usually they say, yeah, absolutely. Like what do you have in mind? And the mistake that most people make is they start talking too much. They start talking about the opportunity. Oh, well, you can become a member, you can sign up, you can sell product, la la la. No, right? Once you've done the approach, what you want to tell them is, I would love to go into more detail with you, but I don't have the time right now. Let me get your contact information and I'll give you a call. We can chat some more and perhaps we can go for coffee together. It's an incredible opportunity, right? I went to my son competes in tennis a lot, and there's always someone who's working at the tennis tournament to organize a tournament, right? And there's this one girl who was very fashionable, right? I could tell she likes jewelry, she has fashion on. And I said, oh hey, well, thank you so much for helping to run this tournament today. And she looked young, so I said, are you still in school? She's like, yeah, I'm actually doing my last year in computer science. I said, what are you studying in school? She goes, well, I'm studying computer science and math. I go, oh, no way. I said, I actually did computer science. And I said, so are you just working here sort of part-time in the summertime, just to, make some more extra money? She said, yeah, I'm just trying to here, just here to and make some money. I used to play tennis. I was, oh, you should play tennis. Tell me more about that. Talked about tennis, right? Talked about, her schooling. And I said, no, by the way, after talking for a while, I said, you look really fashionable to me, you know, um, would I think I asked her, would you be open for an opportunity related to fashion? She goes, yeah, I love fashion. I go, oh, amazing. I said, actually, because our company is like a fashion, beauty, health, personal care company, and there's an opportunity to make some extra income on the side. She goes, oh, well, she goes, what is it? And so I showed her. So the most that I do is, do you know that video, Discover Opulence Global? It's a video of so again, let me just make sure everyone has all these tools here when I'm talking about them. There's one video that I love to show to people. It's called Discover Opulence Global. Let me just grab this link for you here and share it to the group chat. Okay. Because especially if whether it's fashion, beauty, or health, whether you're approaching about fashion or approaching about health or approaching about whatever it is, I always show this video because it always wows people. Wow, that's your office? That's a beautiful office, right? It shows all these cars, the head office, the inside, the out, right? And so, long story short, I said, you know what? Why don't I get your information and I'll arrange a time to give you a call. Because I know you're busy right now. You're organizing a tournament, and we'll talk later. So that's totally good. So I've approached, actually, even just yesterday, my son was warming up at another tennis training center. And again, the girl checks you in. And I just started chatting with her. I said, "Oh, I said, thanks for helping us today." I said, are you still in school here? You're working part-time?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm actually going to grade 12, my son's age, you know." And we started chatting about tennis, about just how the tennis club works. I just asked some random questions like, "Oh, how do I book a court?" And started talking about schooling, and what she was studying. She wants to go into business. Aha, she wants to go into school and she wants to study business. So the next obvious question I asked her was, "Well, have you thought about having your own business in the future?" She goes, "Oh yeah, actually I thought about that." It goes, "Oh, my mom does like she sells insurances." Like, "Oh, that's fantastic." And then so I said, "Would you be open to other opportunities, to add some extra income?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I go, my company is a fashion, beauty, health, personal care company. And actually, here's a video of our company." I showed her the video that I just sent you just now, right? She goes, "Wow, that's beautiful." So yeah, I said, "Well, I'll get your contact information and, I'll reach out to you later on." Now, it helps if you guys have, regular meetings happening, because I invited all of these people to attend our weekly live meetings. But if you don't have that, no big deal. The goal for me is to meet with someone to sit down for coffee whenever possible, right? Sometimes we can't and we meet on Zoom. That's fine as well too. But I do prefer meeting in person because you can definitely build better trust and have better closing. Um, so we talked today about how I approach when I don't have much time. We talked about how I approach people when I have more time. I talked about the tools that I always carry with me everywhere I go. Um, Also is make sure you do proper follow-up. I had a customer who bought another family pack of the Fountain of Life, and I was sharing with them how powerful Divine was. I bought 10 bottles of Divine, and I showed them some testimonials with Divine. How there's one lady in Asia, in Thailand, that I met. She had breast cancer on one side, had it removed. The breast cancer spread to her right side down to her uterus. And then she was praying at a temple. Someone sold her 2 bottles of Fountain of Life. And 4 months later, when she went for the operation to cut out the lump in her breast, they could not find the lumps anymore. And then she added Divine to her regimen. And now, 3 years later, her cancer is down to 0.0023. It's basically not there anymore, the cancer. And her bones that were brown became white again. And she has no more bone density problems. So I showed this testimonial to my friend. He bought all 10 bottles of Divine, right? So, but some other areas that, because I know we're getting close to the 1 hour mark. So every day, my goal is to try to talk to hand out at least 20 brochures. So my goal is to hand out 20 brochures a day, because let's say I pay $25 to buy 20 brochures. I forget what the cost is, right? Doesn't matter. If I give out 20 brochures, most likely I'll sell at least 1 bottle of Fountain of Life. And the 1 bottle profit more than covers the cost of 20 brochures. But in business, we must have this mindset that we have to have a business expense, right? If you own any other kind of business, you got to pay for the rent, the staffing, there's all these overheads you have to pay for, right? So to me, having brochures is a must. We are in a business, right? You have to have expenses. You have to invest into your business, right? And the best kind of investment is the brochures, right? The drop cards as well too. But I also book different events. For example, we have different events that you can have a booth at. And at this booth, for example, I have a golf tournament where I sponsored a hole, and I have a booth where you will have products on display and you have the brochures, right? So that's another way that I get more contacts is I'll book these trade shows or do these booths, the farmers market. There's so many places, right? But also is I think everyone here knows of Dr. Henry, okay? But the way I met him on Google Maps. So on my Google Map phone, I typed in, I was doing a training with someone at my office, and they're trying to, and they're asking me, oh, Rene, where do you go and meet people, right? I said, they're everywhere. He's like, where? I go, just go onto your Google Maps and type in the words naturopath or spa or salon, right? So I just called Dr. Henry. I said, hi, I said, are you the owner of Seiji Canada? He goes, yes. He goes, I go, oh, okay, well, great. Well, my name is Rene Liaw. I'm actually representing a brand new product called the Fountain of Life. It's Health Canada approved with NPN level 3. It's very rare. And have you heard of lignans before? He goes, no. So I explained lignans a little bit. And I eventually I said to him, I said, I would love to come on by and show you some testimonials on this product and also give you and also bring some samples over. He's like, sure, come on over. And from that one cold call to a complete stranger, that's how he got into the business. So you can go into Google Maps, type in naturopath, type in spas, because or salons where they do your hair, because this product is excellent for menopause and for women's hair, right? It grows your hair back, and for men too. So salons would want to carry this in their stores too, right? So that's another way of prospecting. There's also some apps that you can use on your phone. Like Alignable is an app where Alignable connects different business owners to each other. I would suggest maybe you want to join your own local BNI. So BNI is like Business Networking International. They're a group that refer business to each other. Look at your local events in your community. But whatever you do, just don't stay home. Whatever you do, right, to build this business, get out there, right? One great tip is if you don't have a gym membership or you don't have like a weekly activity that you do, start doing that, right? For example, I play golf. So when I go golfing, I always meet new people golfing, right? I play badminton. Well, go get a badminton membership. If you play tennis, well, go join a tennis club. If you like dancing, go join a dance club. If you like to read books, join a book club, right? So whatever is your hobby, but it's nice to do something that keeps you active as well too, right? But there's just so many places to go out there and to meet people. And the key thing is have that right mindset. How can I help somebody else? You know, now I do have I could share a lot more things too, but I don't want to overwhelm and bombard your mindset with too much stuff today. I think we covered a lot of things. I saw that we had Ronan, our incredible LD3 Ronan, that had his hand raised before. But I do hope that today's training has inspired, uplifted you a little bit, and again that we help you start having a lot more success. Yeah, Ronan, I see your hand raised. Please go ahead, Ronan.
Thank you, Rene. What a wonderful, wonderful training. I love being on your trainings. I always learn. One question. Once you have given that beautiful approach and took the contact of WhatsApp with the individual, telling them you're going to follow up, what is it that you do with them at that stage? Do you get together or online and watch the opportunity link and then do a post to a survey? Give us an idea.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a great question there. So, really, follow-up is very, very important. So once I got their contact information, because usually I said that I would text them the link to the studies or I would contact them about the opportunity. Usually I call them back again. So I'll call them. If they answer, great. If not, then I'll leave them a text message. And I'll just say something like, say, hi, so and so. It was fantastic meeting you today. Thank you again so much for helping me out at the tennis or whatever it might be, right? And I would say, we'd love to connect to you about the opportunity. And I would say, would you have time to meet, for example, next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m., let's say. So because when I got the initial contact, I said I would reach out to get together and go for a coffee. So now they know I'm trying to find a time to meet together. And so that's usually what I do is try to arrange a time to either meet on Zoom, but again, wherever possible, I want to meet in person. Because to me, I haven't done a proper job presenting the opportunity until I've actually gone through the information and gone through the testimonials or gone through the actual PowerPoint presentation, right? And so, especially if you are overseas, like this is another really powerful tool. It's called the Opulence Media and Business Accolades. And in here, it just goes through all of the different accolades in the company, right? But again, the main thing is that just have your tools ready with you, have the presentation ready, have the website ready with you. Um, I love to show that video again of Discover Opulence Global. So my goal is just to meet them in person again. And if not, we can hop on Zoom together and just go over the business. So my goal is to present. If my approach was for Fountain of Life, then I would go through the Fountain of Life presentation. If my approach was on the business, then I'd go over the business presentation, basically.
That is the one in the opportunity link, the PowerPoint itself you're talking about?
Yes, yes. And just to let you know, the company is actually making a newer version of the actual tour. Um, what I've done, and I can definitely share it here if you like, Rona, is um, because I've kind of just tweaked. I've it's really the same tour, but I've kind of tweaked the tour a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah, I'm going through the opportunity tour basically that you will find on the back office, generally speaking. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Great questions, right? So I love this. Um, and so,
Thank you,
Thank
Rene.
thank you, Rene,
You're
you're
for
very
such a
welcome.
beautiful introduction.
Yeah,
You're
anyone
very
have any
welcome.
questions?
Yes, questions, please, questions.
Not a question, but I do have two things to say
Please.
regarding badminton. You mentioned badminton before, and
Yes,
badminton used to be my least liked sport of all time, and then I tried Worstminton. So just something to think about, some words for you to think about, for people to think about. Take this home and think about it. Why is the word long got 4 letters and the word short has 5 letters?
Is it very interesting?
I'll leave you with that to chew on. Thank you. See you later.
Thank you, Shivan.
By the way, Rene, it's this is Chiron or Chiron in the new name.
Oh, Chiron.
And he is the last joke of the day. Last joke, question, whatever is the last one. Something
Oh,
they
I
like
love
to
that.
think all overnight now.
Okay.
All day.
Well, by the way, actually, when you're approaching, one great way to build like and trust is to make someone smile, right? Have some humor, right? It's always great to have that when you're approaching someone as well too. So, yeah. Um, there are, if you guys like, I could do another call where I can go into a bit more detail with some other tools that I do use as well, but the main ones I talked about today. And I hope that, yeah, this training has helped you guys a lot. And, anytime you want me for another training, I'm more than happy to be here.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, and yeah, we only 6 months here, and we are aiming to your 19 plus years. So we have a long time to talk.
You know what? That's the beauty of what we built here is that it's truly a forever home. And just know that, whatever you build here, you have a very strong company, amazing leadership, the best products in the world. We're also adding new products very soon too. And you know what? We have the best product in the world, but if no one's hearing about it, it becomes the world's biggest secret. And our job is to make sure everyone learns about our products, right? Yeah. Oh, I see Jasmine has her hands
Jasmine
raised.
have something to say. Yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
just a quick
Jasmine.
one. I've been in the business for 2 years and 10 months, and there were occasions where I just joined the meeting, the calls, just for the sake of listening. But I have changed since December of 2025 because I'm seeing other people propel to a higher level, and I was there before them. So I did not want that to happen. I took it seriously. It's not just for myself, because I joined because I love the products for myself and for my family. But now it's like a lot of people are in need of help, and we all can make money out of this. Why not do it? And the events, the Zoom calls are very, very helpful. I have listened to this 1,000 times, but there were times where it did not really stick into my brain. But the second, third, fourth time, then I appreciate what I heard, because then I can relate to it. So these calls, although it's just an hour or an event for one day, a workshop, a boot camp, to me, they are now all important. So that is the reason why I am always on the call and taking notes. Before, I would always say, I don't have to take all the notes. I know these things. Yeah, you know these things, but am I able to apply it to my business? No, because I didn't take it seriously. But now I'm not just present in every call, but I take down notes, believe it or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Welcome.
Anyone? Before we closing?
I just want to say that I'm in awe with LD1, Bella and Lior. They really do what very few of us are doing, which is to come as a storm before they know everything, and they already organize their own Zoom. They have their own community, their own name, and they have the incredible loyalty of their people, which don't miss a seminar, don't miss a Zoom. This is all the ingredients you really need to create incredible long-term generational communities. And they start like that with two beautiful people that manage to give their people a feeling of home, a feeling of family. And I think this is why you see those triple eights there in the picture. This is why you managed to get the time of an LD4 to be able to come to this new group, new team. And I mean, let's face it, imagine how many teams at this size Rene Liaw LD4 has, how much he's split between so many different things that he's doing. And he is literally always telling me, Ronen, who can we help? Who can I do a webinar? Who can I do a Zoom thing? I mean, I truly respect all those attributes in other people that I need to improve my own. And I really wanted to say a lot of thank you to both Lior and Bella and Renee. It was a wonderful call. And if you guys can grab more time from Renee, in my opinion, take whatever you can. Because I get a feeling that with everything that's happening now in the United States, he's going to be 5 times more busy than what he is now in the next 6 months. So yeah, grab it. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Lior and Bella.
Thank you, Ronen. Thank you.
And we will.
Yes. You guys have an amazing team. I mean, again, and Ronan is someone that I highly respect. He is truly a student that's become the master as well too. And he offers support like none other to his team as well. And so one of the things that I see him do so well is because in the company we have this My5 system, right? Which is where every person who signs up should have a My5 so they can ask questions, right? Because you also don't want like your new prospect that gets started with you. I always create them. So even though I'm the sponsor of this person, And I could teach everything to my own people. I always create the my five, so because I want them to know there's other people in the business aside from me who can help you. Because I want my person to realize the business is not just me and you. It's like it's a huge thing, right? Full of support. And so Rona has always done amazing because every time someone new got started, in his team, he creates a my five, adds them to the group chat. And then people start to grow, with other people as well too. And Rona always ensures that whenever he has a new sponsor, that they should all do a meet and greet phone call with the uplines, right? So he'll make sure that I talk to his new person and that the other my five talk to his people as well, because we can help you, inspire your new members to want to do more and become more excited, right? So yeah, definitely, hats off to Ronan. He's great at following the system, which is really important. Yeah. So, and of course, we're all here for you, as well. So I hope that everyone that does have their my five as well too. Okay.
Alrighty, guys. I think that we passed the hour mark, and I think that it's great for today. I wish to continue more, but we'll do it next time.
Yes.
So
Yes. Thank
till
you.
next time, thank you all, and see you next time.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. To the billion. Bye, everyone.
See you.
They're the billion. Bye bye.